Welcome to the Workamper Show, a podcast devoted to helping you discover how to finance your RV travel dreams. I'm Steve Anderson, the president of Workamper News. Each one of our episodes will either introduce you to people who are already living the RV lifestyle or to opportunities to work short-term jobs. You'll also learn how to hit the road the right way and make the most of every opportunity. Now let's turn over today's show to your host, Greg Gerber.
Thank you, Steve. Today I'm going to speak with a man who is looking to match volunteer chaplains with RV parks in Arizona, Texas, and Florida. Today's episode is sponsored by The Dreamer's Journey. It's a new online course and community produced by Workamper News. Life is way too short to keep your dreams on hold, so don't be held back by fear because you were designed for more. Get started with the RV lifestyle the right way with this comprehensive guide. For just $29.95 for 90 days of access, Dreamers have unlimited viewing of 50-plus videos to learn things like what type of RV to buy, goal setting, how to budget for the adventure, developing a positive mindset, setting up a domicile, operating a small business on the road, plus all about work camping and how to find the right job for you. Each video is 30 to 90 minutes long, giving in-depth coverage on each topic. There's no wrong time to get started, so for more information, visit www.rvdreamersjourney.com. Robert Ruesch is the founder and CEO of Christian Resort Ministries, an organization based in Evergreen, Colorado. It was founded in 2002 as a way to answer a question many full-time or seasonal RVers have when they're spending several months at an RV resort. Where can they go to worship as a temporary resident of the area? Robert wanted to create an environment where people of faith could gather in their sandals, shorts, and a t-shirt. After all, they're often retired or on vacation. The ministry currently provides chaplains to more than 40 resorts. Depending upon the resort, the non-denominational services can attract as many as 200 people, which is often larger than many churches. Robert recalls welcoming people from 47 different denominations to a service he held at one resort. The chaplains are volunteers, and many of them are retired pastors or lay people who have been significantly involved in their local churches. But they all share a common calling to teach people, provide support, and care for others in their community. Not only are the chaplains leading weekly worship services, they're also leading Bible studies or hosting family activities like movie nights at the park. Sometimes they organize potluck gatherings, while other times they may be visiting people in hospitals or running errands for those who need some help. Occasionally, chaplains will officiate at weddings and even memorial services. Chaplains can work anywhere from 20 to 60 hours a week, depending upon how involved they want to be at the campgrounds they serve. Many times, Christian Resort Ministries works out an arrangement with the resort to provide chaplains with a free RV space, which includes all utilities. However, an offering is also taken at each service, and the money raised helps to cover the chaplain's expenses. What makes Christian Resort Ministries so unique is that when they match a chaplain to an RV park, it is expected that the same chaplain will return to the same resort every year for 3 to 5 years. That allows chaplains to really get to know the people in the campground and to develop relationships with them. To tell us more about this opportunity to serve as a seasonal faith leader at an RV resort, please welcome Robert Ruesch with Christian Resort Ministries to the show. Thanks for joining me today, Robert. I really appreciate the time. Please tell me a little bit about Christian Resort Ministries, where it's from, and what you do.
Well, thank you, Greg, for having me on your podcast. We really appreciate it. Christian Resort Ministries was started in a hotel lobby in 2002 in San Antonio, Texas, by myself, my wife, and another couple that just kind of looked at where do people, when they go RVing and stay in an RV park and they're there with their very best friends that they just met 5 minutes ago, where do they go to worship? Because they don't feel comfortable really walking into a church in sandals and shorts and a t-shirt. So what we decided is that we would bring chaplains to the RV resorts and parks. And the reason we're doing that is we follow a model that Jesus set up. And essentially the way I like to say it, Greg, is that Jesus did not send an email to the lepers and say, meet me at the local coffee shop so we can discuss your medical and social conditions. He went there and went with them. And so we decided this would be the best model we could do, is to follow that type of idea that Jesus set. to be there among the RVers in the park.
Mm-hmm. Do you belong to any particular denomination?
No, we do not. We are non-denominational, and the reason we want to be that is that oftentimes many of our worship services will have over 200 people in them. And we have done some polls of how many denominations are in a worship service, and one worship service, we had over 47 different denominations that were worshiping together.
Wow, that's got to be challenging for you to keep the message relatively neutral for everybody.
It is kind of a funny example. When I was one of the chaplains with the ministry, I had a red water bottle that I set on the stage, and then I, of course, would talk from the floor because I didn't want to be up that high. And I had two couples that kept looking at the water bottle for about 3 weeks, and finally I approached them, talked to them, found out that they were from up north and they were Lutheran, and they thought that was the Christ candle that I hadn't lit. So I had to change the color of my water bottle.
Okay, very good. Do the campgrounds hire these chaplains?
No, we are all volunteers. It comes through Christian Resort Ministries and a huge application process that we have that we go through. And they work basically as volunteers in the park.
But the park provides them a free campsite?
We negotiate that. Some of the larger parks that are corporate, that campsite has to be taken care of, and we expect then that the worship committee or the offering would hold that out for the chaplains, because we want to keep them financially above water, because after all, Greg, they are volunteering. So, but we do ask the campgrounds to consider giving them full utilities and a site for the time that they are there.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you folks been utilizing these kind of roving chaplains?
We started in 2002 with one site in Florida, and we have grown since then to be in Florida, Texas, and Arizona, and we have about 40 different sites that we are on now.
So these are pretty much winter jobs that are people who are going to be working in the winter. They're not suffering for Jesus in Minnesota?
They for some reason, they just don't want to suffer for Jesus in Minnesota in the middle of the winter. So it's working jobs south of the Mason-Dixon line.
Okay.
And the thing is, the interesting thing too is that, we have a lot of retired pastors that don't really want to retire. They want to continue to share the word. And they don't have the finances and the retirement income to go down and spend the winter in an RV park. This gives them the opportunity to do both.
Mm-hmm. Now, what kind of jobs do the chaplains do?
That's a good question. They have worship services on Sunday, Bible studies, generally men's, women's, and couple Bible studies. And then we also have what we call family movie night. We have licensing to show good Christian family movies to the parks. Some of the activities that they participate in is just almost every single potluck, because they're asked to come to those and to open the potluck with a prayer. They also will visit people in the hospitals, and we'll have porch front visits for them. Oftentimes, some of the chaplains, when one of the spouses has another activity, they will be willing to drive that spouse to a medical appointment or to go grocery shopping. Basically, they do the same thing that a pastor would do in a small city, is just serve the people.
Mm-hmm. And people are relatively receptive, open to having Bible studies at a campground?
They are. There are some that, kind of push back on that, and that's okay, because what we have found is that those people who say, well, I don't want to go to a Bible study, start to see the difference in people who have gone to worship services and Bible study, and then they say, well, maybe there is something to that. And we've had managers and owners of parks saying that the chaplain program is the glue that keeps our residents happy. To give you an example, we had one couple that came into an RV park. They were planning on staying just 3 nights. They found out about our chaplain program that we have there. They ended up staying 3 weeks. The next year, they came back and they signed up for the whole season to stay there, because they saw the value of having that program.
Wow. That's neat. And so you guys can provide some sort of support for the campground owners as well, right? I mean, you might be there to diffuse some difficult situations.
Yes, we can. Occasionally there will be friction between residents, management, and owners. And we try to be the little Switzerland voice between the two and understand both sides of the issue and get it solved. Give you an example. At one campground, this one couple was having some problems with management. They did not go to church. They would not go to church, but yet they called the chaplain to sit in on the negotiation meetings with the owners of the park.
Okay. So it's a multifaceted function that these chaplains are going to be performing.
They have no idea when they wake up in the morning what they're going to be doing.
Mm-hmm. And these are seasonal, so they start around Labor Day?
Basically, about October, we have what we call fall conference, and we have training and orientation for new chaplains. We bring in some pretty heavy-duty speakers to speak to all the chaplains and then teach them what's going on for the winter and the stuff. And so then we move forward and take them to their assignments right after fall conference in October. And so they stay there until generally right after Easter.
And where does fall conference take place?
It's kind of interesting because last year, because of COVID, it took place in 7 different states, Canada, plus we also had face-to-face conferences in Florida, Texas, and Arizona. And we did that through Zoom.
How many chaplains do you folks have within the organization now?
Between 35 and 40. And we always have less chaplains than we seem to have RV parks for.
Okay. So you're looking for several volunteer chaplains for this coming season?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And how many hours do you think they work typically? Is it up to them?
It's up to them. Depending on the park and the needs, sometimes they may put in, if we can use the word work in quotes, 40 hours a week. Other times they may put in 20. Sometimes they may have to go to 60, but some of those hours could be potlucks, could be movies, could be going on an excursion trip with people because they're invited. And they eventually, a lot of times, are invited out to lunch or dinner with a couple to discuss things or just to socialize. So they really are an itinerant preacher, kind of like the Methodists had when they had the saddleback preachers that went from one church to another and moved through. We just kind of park them in one area for the season.
Okay. Are they like leading songs and things like that too during the services?
They do. A lot of the parks, you know this, there's just so much talent in those parks that is untapped. And once people that have musical talent realize that they can share that, they come up and are willing to play the organ, the piano, they play guitars, they sing. Some of the parks have choirs, others have praise groups. It's amazing to see how much talent is in the park that is untapped, even to the point of accountants and mechanics and such like that all of a sudden want something to do, because when you retire, it's like, okay, I'm retiring, what am I going to do now? Well, you have all these skills that are not used, but yet can be used. And so it's up to the people and the chaplain to kind of discover each other and to work with that. One thing, we have a program in one of our parks in Texas called Helping Hands, and it is a food bank ministry for the colonias. And they distribute each month over 2,000 pounds of given food to immigrants that have come here, that are many of them living in cardboard boxes, along with sharing the love of Jesus Christ to them.
Well, we should note that these are probably seasonal campgrounds, and so the people who are the residents there are likely there for months at a time. And that's how they develop that sort of community, right?
That's correct. And then in the winter, in the summertime, when the chaplains have time off, you will see them visiting the people that they worshiped and served during the year.
Well, that would be fun. And then
they're invited into Iowa and to Minnesota and to all the other northern states that these residents have come from, and they go there and socialize with them, and they're able to those residents are able to say, this is my chaplain for the winter season. This is who I worship with, and share the ministry within the church.
That's fun. Now, you said these are volunteer chaplains, but you had mentioned that they might be able to take an offering at the services. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, we do. Each service, depending on, how they set up stuff, they will have an offering. From that, that will help if the chaplain has to pay for his site, will help cover, the expenses of his site, of bulletins, of, going out, etc. So, it runs just like a regular church, but yet it's only from November until Easter.
Okay. Do the chaplains organize like work projects and things like that for the residents to do?
That's a good question. They do. Matter of fact, one of the campgrounds we are in Florida generally has an overabundance of money at the end of the year, and then the congregation decides what ministry within the area should we go ahead and give most of our funds to, so they can continue the work. They always keep some seed money for the next year, but they clear the bank account out.
I would imagine that much of the time is basically spent hanging around the campfire, just talking to people about life and what's going on in their lives.
Yes, we had one chaplain tell me, he says, I have never drank so much coffee in my life, because they would walk the campground and people would say, hey, Don, come on over and have a cup of coffee with us. And so, as he would, and then he'd move on down with his wife to the 2 or 3 slots, and there's another opportunity to sit and have coffee with people.
Before we started the interview, you were telling me a story about the doctor and mechanic. Why don't you relay that to the audience as well?
Oh, I'd love to. Back in the 1970s, when I was working up in the Colorado Rockies, I was working at a resort area that was a conference and camp center. And we had this mechanic from Nebraska come in. And he came in his school bus that he had turned into a camper, got set up. Well, the next day, a doctor came in and went a big old Chieftain, all 36 feet of it, and it wasn't running well. Well, the doctor and the mechanic started talking, and the doctor lamented that the fact was that he's going to have to do a 150-mile round trip back down to Denver to get this vehicle fixed, and he really did not have that much time to spend with his family, and there were hikes that he wanted to go on with them and show them things. And the mechanic said, look, he said, I'm just sitting around here. My wife, my children, they're out doing crafts, and they're in the day program. Go on your hike. Let me look at your RV, because I can learn things from it for my school bus. So the mechanic did. The doctor went on his hike. Doctor came back. The mechanic said, I got it fixed. It was just a simple problem. The doctor said, well, thank you. How much do I owe you? And he said, nothing. He said, I just chose to do this for you. He said, I enjoyed it. The doctor said, here's my card. If you ever need something, let me know. That winter, the mechanic's father had a heart attack. The mechanic remembered the doctor, called him up. He was in Texas, and said, would you look at all the medical records that I got on my dad? Because they say he has to have open heart surgery, and I really would like a second opinion. So he sent the documents down to him. The doctor looked at it and said, yes, he definitely does need open heart surgery. I am flying my medical team and myself into Omaha. We will do the surgery. We have been given permission to do that. And you know the rest of the story, Greg. The mechanic said, how much do I owe you? And the doctor said, nothing. We chose to do this for you. That would have not happened except they sat around a campfire together and shared family stories.
I would imagine that in this type of a position, there are a lot of divine appointments that are going to take place at that campground, where the chaplains are encountering people who have need, or they're connecting people together who have different needs, and they're just working to help each other. Do you see that happen a lot?
Yes, we do. We see the retired talents of families getting together and just enjoying the love of each other through the love of Jesus Christ. We find people who decide to do programs like the food bank program. We have quilters that make quilts for people. One program that a bunch of people got together, they started making bookshelves for students in school so they could take them home, and then they would fill the shelves with their books for the school year. But they built the shelves, bought the books, all the materials, and it became a community effort.
Oh, that's really neat. And, there's plenty of opportunities to serve at campgrounds as well, where people are just, helping other people out as they get to know each other. They're developing that community. So it's like having a church community, but all of the members are from different denominations.
Yes, it is. That's exactly right. And of course, you know that when you go to a campground and you back your rig in, you're going to have 5 guys there with 10 different opinions that are your very best friends that you just met 2 minutes ago to help you back that rig in.
That's right. Absolutely. What traits and qualifications are you looking for in these chaplains?
The first one is just a calling from God. We have chaplains that have never held a pulpit for their life, but they have been lay people. And they will come to us and say, I really feel this is something I can do. And so we have an application process on our website, and it's called the chaplain interest form. They fill that out, and then we start peeling the onion back from there. We do a background check. We check, finances and et cetera to see how they are and any type of issues that they may have. We take them through training. We have 3 references from them, and then we ask for other references from the 3 that they gave us. We talk to their home church pastor to see what they think about this individual going into this ministry. And then from there, we put them through fall conference orientation and training. And if they get through all that, then we will assign them a park. The first year is probation. We talk to the residents, to the management, to the owners and say, did you like the chaplain? Yes or no? If you did, then we will bring him back for next year. But then we ask the chaplain to make a 3 to 5 year commitment to that park so that the residents know who will be there to help them with their spiritual journey.
Okay, so 3 to 5 years. This is something that the chaplains are going to have to return to that park year after year for at least 3 to 5 years.
We like them to do that if they can commit to that. Sometimes there's some issues with family that we will have to, address during the year or for the next season, and we'll do that. But they don't have to come, but it's like, can you make us this promise that you will try to do that so that the residents know who's there and there's a consistency of theology for all the people who come there as residents to hear.
Mm-hmm. And so people don't have to have been pastors. They don't have to have a seminary degree or anything like that, but
No.
They should have been active in their church, right?
They should have been active in their church and feel a calling from God. An example I'll give you is that the park that we were chaplains on when we first started the ministry, my wife Barbara and I were walking around the park feeding the mosquitoes, and this other couple came up, and Ed and Patty started talking to us, and we talked to them, and I realized that Ed really was a neat guy and could do a ministry. And I said, Ed, think about being a chaplain. And he goes, Bob, let me tell you something. I'm retired. I'm not going to do that. I said, okay. But he came to church every Sunday faithfully. 2 years later, our car decided to pass our motorhome as we were going down the road, which to me didn't seem like the right thing to do. Yeah. And so I called Ed because he was already at the park, and I said, would you please do the sermon for me? I will send it to you. All you got to do is read. He goes, well, I can do that. And so he did. The next week, I asked him if he could do it again because we still couldn't make it down. He says, don't bother. He said, I'm going to do my own sermon. He became the chaplain of that park for 7 years and also became a board member for 10 for us.
Oh, that's great. That's a neat story. What kind of training do you provide at that fall conference?
A lot of different things. We talk about what do you expect in the park? What can you expect? Because sometimes people will say, well, why is the chaplain outside walking around? Shouldn't he be inside the RV working in a sermon? And then he's inside the RV working in a sermon, and they say, why isn't he outside walking around? So we try to tell the chaplains, here's what you can expect. These are some of the calluses that you have to develop and be ready for. We we bring in, like this year, we're going to bring in M.K. Gant, who is an incredible theologian, and he will be doing part of our conference via Zoom from his book Above and Beyond, which talks about how to have excellence in your ministry and even in your life. So we have that type of training. We have the new chaplains will talk to the assigned chaplains, and the assigned chaplains say, here is what we found in the parks. This is what you have to expect. We talk about how to create a sermon, how to set up a worship committee, how to work conflict resolution. The way to say it is the best way is that they get to drink through a high pressure fire hose for 1 week.
Okay.
And they are not thirsty, and they didn't drown at the end of the week. And what I found is so interesting, Greg, is that generally Saturday morning's kind of a time to relax before we have our church service on Sunday. And our guys get together and start talking to each other about what can they do to help each other and what ideas do they have. It's their free time, but they are so focused on what they want to do, they just get together in the classroom and sit and talk. And I was asked a couple of years ago, do you want to join us? And I said, no, let this do itself. Because as the CEO of Christian Resort Ministries, whatever I say kind of turns into policy, and I want them to create this stuff. I will sit in the background and watch God work.
Oh, that's really neat. Now, when you're assigning a chaplain to a campground, are you throwing them into the deep end, or do you assign them a mentor to work with them for that first year?
We assign them a mentor, a person they can call. We have regional directors in all 3 states that they can call first. The regional director can always call me, and the chaplains can call me directly anytime that they want, or they can call any of the other chaplains. And a lot of times they will call their mentor, and the mentor will say, oh, this is how you solve the problem. This is no big deal.
Okay.
So.
Okay, but they don't have somebody working with them side by side. They're available at the end of a telephone.
They are. Okay. But our chaplains also meet every month because we bribe them to get together for a potluck. And we have training there, and we have discussions. We have the chaplains' wives, which are very important to the ministry. They have their time to talk, and the chaplain guys have a time to talk. And then they share together. And if there's any issues, we work that together as a corporate group within.
What could a chaplain really do to stand out in the application process if they really wanted to be noticed, if they wanted to really get this kind of position?
Just be honest, fill it out with your expectations of what you want to do. You can find our chaplain interest form on our website, which is CRMINTL, stands for Christian Resort Ministries International. .org. It's www.crmintl.org, or you can call 210-549-9006 and follow the prompts on the phone, and you will get one of our directors, regional directors, or myself, our bookkeeper, whoever you want to talk to. We're just willing to listen to your heart and go from there. We have some very unlikely people that have become chaplains because Jesus picked unlikely people to become disciples for him.
Absolutely. That's certainly the case. You'd mentioned that the chaplains are involved in 3 different states. What are those states again?
Florida, Texas, and Arizona.
Okay. Are there plans to add any others?
Only as God leads.
Okay.
We kind of go by a motto of let's see where God leads. Right now, those seem to be the anchor states for us, where we have the 3 migration patterns, essentially from the West Coast to the East Coast and the middle of America, that follow into those states.
Mm-hmm. Now, the chaplains are working seasonally. So they're starting with the conference in October, and they're working at the same park until usually the end of March, early April. Is that it?
That's correct. Okay. Yeah.
And they're making that 3 to 5 year commitment to that particular park once they're assigned there, so that they can get to know people and the management and the campers themselves.
That's right. And what we find too is that we have some chaplains that are retired military chaplains, and those guys they've been on the front line of battle spiritually and even physically, emotionally. And these chaplains relate to the veterans that are in the park so well. And that's such a service that we can give to the people who have served our country, to have an understanding military person, to be able to talk to them in their own language.
Well, I would think that it would be important to have an understanding person like that to encounter any difficult situation. I mean, people, because these are seasonal campers and seasonal campgrounds, I mean, you can come with a family and leave with one missing, right?
I had this happen to me when I was 12 years old. I was living in a resort with my parents because my mom and dad were working in resorts. And I walked into my house and my mom said, "You need to talk to the person in your room." And there was a girl in there in my boy cave crying. And I thought, well, what's going on? I asked my mom. She said, she just lost her father because he got hit by lightning. Your dad is working to get the family home. I have some things to do. Can you comfort her?
Mm-hmm.
And I could not answer the question of how do you go home with the same amount of luggage and not the same amount of family, because tragedies happen.
Mm-hmm.
We need somebody there to hold the hand. To give you an example, one of our parks, the new owner of the park, first year he had there, and a fifth wheel RV, the landing gear broke and crushed the individual underneath it and killed him.
Mm.
And the owner of the park looked at the chaplain and just said, "You fix this," because he had no idea how to handle that situation, that type of hometown tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
And this person was very much loved in the park,
Mm-hmm.
but just a freak accident.
Mm-hmm. Is it safe to assume that the chaplains are also officiating events? Might be at funerals or even weddings.
Yes, they do. They do funerals and weddings. And each year when the chaplain comes back, we have a remembrance service of the people that did not make it back for the next season.
Okay.
And that becomes a very healing thing, instead of just saying, well, that couple's gone. To say, no, let's have a service for the individual that we lost, or the couple that we lost that year. And that becomes a real healing, knitting time for the individuals in that park to get together. And we find that management and owners show up to those services
because they're remembering the people who had been members of their community for many years.
Sometimes 10 to 20 years.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And they didn't have a chance to say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
But this service allows that. And we also have a Veterans Memorial Service each year, too, to honor the veterans of our country.
Okay. Now, these chaplains, it sounds like, could work a lot of hours. What do you do, or what do you suggest that they do to maintain some sort of balance so they get the time off and they can relax and recharge their own batteries so they can be in a better position to serve others?
Good question. We tell them to get the heck out of the park at least one day a week and not to tell anybody where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
Just go and recharge their batteries. And of course, with our two parks in Florida and Texas, and we're close to the Gulf and the Atlantic Ocean, we say, just go to the beach, just sit on the beach, go to a movie, find a way to refresh yourself. And oftentimes they don't do that in the beginning, but then they start to realize the value of that. And they end up not going alone, but they end up going with another couple that they've become really good friends with. And that's okay. But it gives them that time off. We ask them, just for the mentor, we say, be sure to check with our new chaplains and see if there's some burnout going. And if there is, grab them, take them out to lunch, give them some social time away from the park, but don't talk about the park.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk about whatever you'd like to. But, this is not a corporate meeting. This is a friendship meeting to refresh and renew that chaplain, because you are in a fishbowl and you're there 24/7. And we've had people knock on the door at 2 a.m. saying, so-and-so, this happened.
Mm-hmm.
One park, 2 a.m, an RV caught on fire. And the chaplain got in his truck, got over there, and realized that there was a fifth wheel right next to the RV he was on, was able to hook up the fifth wheel and get it out of there because those couples were on a cruise.
Oh, wow.
And saved their fifth wheel.
Mm-hmm. That's some wonderful service to be able to be available and able to help out whenever needed. Where can people get more information about this opportunity?
They can go to our website at crmintl.org. They can call our phone number at 210-549-9006 and just follow the vocal prompts on there to talk to one of our regional directors or to talk to me. I love to talk to people about this ministry.
Mm-hmm.
That's the two best ways to get a hold of us. And I will, and so will the regional directors, will be more than happy to give an individual a phone number of one of our chaplains to talk to say, here, talk to our chaplains, see what they do, see if this is something that meets your needs and your calling.
You have an online community just for your chaplains so that they can support and encourage one another?
We do. All of our chaplains know each other's phone numbers, email addresses, and we, like I said, we get together once a month during our season and meet, and then we have Zoom calls for the chaplains during the year as needed, and to set up training and to find out which direction we want to go. We're a grounds up ministry. If a chaplain has an idea, we love to listen to it and bring that up through the corporate structure, which is very loose and open, so that we can be effective in that ministry. We are a 501c3. We're affiliated with the Evangelical Financial Accountability Association, EFCA, and have certification through them. So our books are audited by an outside auditor every single year to make sure that we do what we are saying we need to do.
Very good. So if there are people who live in the northern states who want to support this type of ministry in the southern states during the winter, they're able to provide some sort of financial support to keep it going.
Yes, they are. Yeah. All they got to do is get a hold of us, and we will be happy to help them, get on our support team, because generally our budget is very, very small. We work with less than $100,000 a year. And out of that, 90% of that is money that people have given to chaplains to help them do their ministry. We generally only have about 10% of our budget that runs our ministry.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
So,
well, thank you so much, Robert. I really appreciate the time. This sounds like an important and essential function that volunteer chaplains can perform at these RV parks in Texas and Arizona and Florida. And I really appreciate your time talking about it, and I hope people take you up on this opportunity to invest their lives and follow that calling.
Thank you, Greg. We just have to wait and see where God leads.
I'd like to thank Robert Ruesch, the founder and CEO of Christian Resort Ministries, for taking time to speak with us today about an opportunity for volunteer chaplains to serve at RV resorts in Arizona, Florida, and Texas. There are a lot worse places for chaplains to suffer for Jesus than the Sun Belt during the winter. Robert said that many chaplains have worked in ministry for much of their lives and therefore may not have the retirement funds available to winter in warmer climates. This opportunity allows chaplains to continue pursuing their callings while serving as non-denominational faith leaders at a resort community for a few months every year. RV parks like having chaplains on their property because it helps make the campground feel more like a community. It also helps to have a chaplain on site if a spouse dies or becomes seriously ill, and on occasion, chaplains may help mediate disputes. Chaplains start work in October right after an annual conference in Colorado and generally continue working through Easter. People interested in serving as chaplains will first complete an interest form that describes their experiences in ministry and why they feel called to the position. All chaplains undergo background checks and have their references called. Once accepted into the program, chaplains take part in an orientation and training that usually takes place in Colorado right before they're matched to a particular resort. Orientation helps prepare chaplains for some of the situations they may encounter at an RV park and guides them in developing a faith-based community at the campground. Chaplains are matched to a mentor who is always available by phone for consultation, and all chaplains in the state often gather at least once a month to support, encourage each other, and to take part in some theological training. At the end of their first season, ministry staff speak with the campground staff to make sure the chaplain fit in well with the RV park community. For more information about Christian Resort Ministries and opportunities to become a volunteer chaplain, visit www.crmintl.org. People can also call 210-549-9006 or email info@crmintl.org. Today's episode was sponsored by Workamper News. With its Diamond and Platinum membership tools, Workamper News is much more than a job listing website. When you put the tools of this professional service into action, you'll find out just how easy it can be to turn your work camping dreams into reality. The one-year memberships open the door to a one-stop shop for all things work camping. Being the original resource for work camping, you'll find the largest number of job listings and be able to connect with a community of work campers and view resources compiled by experts who've been enjoying the RV lifestyle for many years. If you're serious about leading a successful and enjoyable work camping lifestyle, then a Diamond or Platinum membership is for you. You can even get started with a free 30-day trial by visiting www.workamper.com/trial. Embark on new adventures today with the support of Workamper News behind you. That's all I have for this week's show. Next time, I'll be talking to Jody Duquette, the editor of Workamper News, about the best ways to find short-term jobs. If you're a work camper, or even if you're still dreaming of becoming a work camper, be a great show full of a lot of helpful ideas. Thanks for listening to today's episode of The Workamper Show.